Being charged with a DWI is expensive. There are the court fees, and your insurance rates can go through the roof, to name just a few. If the judge orders it, though, you may also have to pay for an alcohol monitor. We discovered that when it comes to Olmsted County's alcohol monitor program, the county's process wasn't in line with Minnesota law. Recently, a judge denied the county's motion, arguing that all defendants to be hooked up to their contracted monitoring company. ABC 6 News anchor Karsen Forsman has reviewed the facts and explains this process that has been in place for 15 years.
You may be sitting there thinking to yourself, why should I care about someone who is accused of committing a crime like a DWI? Tonight's story isn't intended to give sympathy towards those who get behind the wheel while drunk. Rather, think about this. How would you feel if you were overcharged for something when it turns out you could have been saving a lot more money in the long run?
I feel like I was taken advantage of just because I had no other options.
This woman, who asked not to be identified, came forward the day after being arrested and charged with her second DWI. Her options: either post bond or use an electronic alcohol monitor like this one. She didn't have the bond money, so she chose what she thought was the cheaper option, the monitor.
I asked if I could get some kind of help, and that wasn't an option for me. They just pretty much said if I don't pay the $238 that I was not getting out.
Olmsted County's alcohol monitoring system is run by Midwest Monitoring and Surveillance out of Burnsville. In Olmsted County, a defendant could pay $17 to $24 a day, which includes a $5 per day fee that goes directly back to the county.
I have a client that's on pretrial release in several different counties, so I mean, to require her to have 3 separate monitors through 3 separate providers with 3 separate $17 to $24 fees is ridiculous.
Recently, Rochester attorney Danielle DeFiore decided to challenge the sheriff's office and go with a different monitoring service. And she wasn't alone.
We represent people who are often desperately poor.
These 6 attorneys asked the court, should their clients have to obey the sheriff's office mandate to use Midwest Monitoring, a process that has been in place for 15 years.
It was actually a client who made the switch to the, to an alternative provider, and then the county was upset about that. And when that conflict came to us, we realized, what's wrong with switching to a different provider?
Olmsted County Sheriff Kevin Torgerson defended the Midwest Monitoring Program, saying in part, when the process is circumvented, the following occurs: loss of control, no built-in fee paid to the county to cover the cost of staffing, and a lack of accountability.
And Midwest's least expensive option, because it has no location tracking, really defeats the sheriff's stated goal of, if there's a violation, we want to get out there, lights and sirens, and get them, because they can't. They don't know where they are.
On average, defendants charged with their second DWI who end up bailing out pay a total of $1,200. But it turns out
it's even cheaper to pay the bail than to be on the monitor.
The attorneys say on average a speedy trial takes around 88 days. And if you do the math using Midwest Monitoring's cheapest $17 a day option, by day 71, a defendant will have paid more money for the monitor than if they had paid the average unconditional bond. And you're probably wondering what the sheriff's office has to say about this. We reached out to the sheriff of Olmsted County. He declined our interview. We also went as far as to reach out to former sheriffs of Olmsted County. They also declined comment. These documents showing the sheriff's office has collected more than $740,000 from Midwest Monitoring over the last 10 years. County officials say the money is, quote, used to offset expenses of the intensive daily cooperative management of the monitoring program by staff of the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office.
That's essentially just a tax. That's a tax that's found nowhere in the law, and they're asking our clients to pay it.
So it's really hard to argue.
In Danielle DeFiore's case, a judge ruled there is no statutory authority for the idea that the sheriff alone can or must provide that program.
That would be huge if they gave you more options and explained stuff to you instead of kind of just throwing you out there.
I talked to this alleged DWI offender a week after the courts ruled against Olmsted County. However, she says she was told the same old story.
And it was just like, well, sorry, this is what you have to do to get out. You're not getting any help, pretty much. That's how I felt.
Is that fair?
No.
Why?
I feel like I was lied to.
taking a look at Minnesota law regarding electronic alcohol monitoring programs, it says, in cooperation with the Conference of Chief Judges, the State Court Administrator, and the Commissioner of Public Safety, the Commissioner of Correction shall establish a program to use breathalyzer units to monitor impaired driving offenders who are ordered to abstain from alcohol use as a condition of pretrial release, supervised release, or probation. The program must include procedures that ensure that violators of this condition of release receive swift consequences for the violation. Now, meantime, Judge Joseph Chase said in his ruling, quote, the statute says nothing about Minnesota sheriffs being responsible for providing the program of alcohol monitoring the court must order. This statute also places no electronic alcohol monitoring program responsibility on Minnesota sheriffs. Now, Laura, we checked in with other sheriff's offices in southeast Minnesota, and none of them are on contracts like Olmsted County. Most of them use a referral form like this one. Mower, Fillmore, and Dodge County, they all of them use this referral form, but say it's ultimately up to the defendant, the DWI defendant, to choose a electronic alcohol monitoring program.
Now, have we heard from the company, have we heard from Midwest about this particular program in response to all of this?
Yeah, we just heard from Midwest about this tonight, and the president of the company emailed me tonight and wanted to make it clear that the $5 fee is imposed through Olmsted County. This is not the Midwest monitoring fee that they impose in Olmsted County.
So it's not something that they're not requesting that from the
No,
county?
it's the county's call. It's
Gotcha.
Olmsted County's call.
A very interesting topic.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Karsen.